On today's episode, we're answering the question, no, we're not, because I'm on the wrong damn outline.
I think the biggest thing is sometimes I guess that the ego or the envy in terms of you see another business, you're like, oh my gosh, they're smashing it, they're doing so well. I want to ride on their coattails. I want to be part of their magic formula. And really kind of jump into it as a more of a fan. And so this is really about what are your values? Like, what are your values as a company? But also, like, what's your objective? What are you actually trying to get out of this? And as I said in the beginning, this is about like, what is your, from a strategic point of view, are you trying to get emails for a database? Are you trying to grow an audience on social? Are you trying to actually get the credibility of a big bank or a big telecoms company, or the credibility of another brand to elevate your standing in an industry? Are you trying to actually get heard, on a stage or on a podcast, because you're actually, again, trying to build a different type of credibility? So the worst thing that you can do is just kind of girl fan and go, oh, I love them. I love them. My world would be complete if I could actually just do something with that company because I actually like them. It's not about like, you could go out to dinner, this is about what you can actually do for your business to move it forward. And in this whole thing, this is not a bartering system. Partnerships are not, I'll trade you, 2 posts for a story. This is not a bartering system. This is about a company actually saying, my customer looks like this, and I want to create something amazing for my customer that they couldn't get, from each brand individually. So what can we both do together to actually create the ultimate customer experience, and we can both grow in the process? And that grow, that word, that is your objective. So how do you want to grow? In what kind of metric do you want to grow? What can you measure after that fact? But it's really going in with this sense of generosity, but also abundance, to kind of go, I want this customer to have an amazing experience. And so whether that's actually as a gift with purchase, whether that's about, getting, a free downloadable book, whether that's an event and they actually get to experience a service that they wouldn't have already got. So it's the worst thing you can do is, go in because you like somebody, and also go in with a bartering mindset.
I think too, and Jenny actually noted this down in our notes where we're building the show notes here behind the scenes, that, if you do the whole, I'm a fan, so I want to join forces, that's not really a strategy. And it means that you might just end up changing your directions multiple times because you're just working with people that you like and kind of taking what you can get and doing all of the stuff that isn't intentional. And I really like how she pointed that out. So I thought I would say it out loud.
Thanks, Allison. Yeah, that was just a show note, but bring it out, girlfriend. I wanted to say something here because I thought it was really interesting. And that has to do with these like strategic partnerships, and digital or otherwise. And one of the things that you have to figure out is, I find, is to make sure that there is an equal exchange. So I did a partnership with somebody a number of years back, and it wasn't an equal exchange. They had an audience and I had skills. So in their mind, it was access to my audience means you do all the work. So that was a challenge on my side because I didn't feel like it was an equal balance. And a different partnership that I did, the person actually thought that their name was going to be just enough to bring everything with them. And, I learned a lot from both of those partnerships, quite honestly. My partner would probably beg to differ that I shouldn't have done them in the beginning. And I actually completely agree. But I did learn something from actually doing them. And that would be that you have to have absolute equality, or at least make sure that people know on both sides what that means. And that's something, Allison and I have had multiple conversations, and some of them challenging and difficult, on the equality of the partnership that we have, because both of us have struggled with, hey, I feel like I'm pulling some of the weight here, et cetera, et cetera. And have you found when you're talking to people about this that that's something that they need to really consider as well?
Yes, of course. I think, as I kind of said, partnerships are most of the time no money changing hands. It's a sense of goodwill, and you go into this actually saying, "Hey, this is what it's going to look like, and this is what we're going to do to create an experience for the customer." And so, because there's no money changing hands, in a lot of times it's not documented and it's not kind of thought through. It's just a sense of, hey, we could do something fun. Do you want to do something together? We'll just try something. But it really should be almost like if you were going to do a marketing campaign. So if you're going to do a campaign, you would look at all the assets and all the opportunities to have a great conversation with that customer. And so within your partnership, that is not, and that's, I guess, the difference between when you do an influencer style of marketing and when you do a partnership. So in my experience, an influencer is somebody who has a really strong following in one usually particular area, and that is usually a social channel, a medium. They could be incredibly strong in Insta, they could be incredibly strong in YouTube, it could be a podcast, but it's one thing. Whereas a partner is somebody that you're actually saying, hey, I really think that we can do something together, and I think that we could actually have a conversation in this forum, and then we could actually follow up with an email, and then we could actually do a webinar that dives deep, or a workshop that we can actually get them to walk through a process and come out with an outcome. It's actually using different tools and different mediums to create a full partnership. So when you are talking to another company about doing something together, it should almost be like you were briefing a external advertising agency and actually paying that agency. So you would say, this is what I'm going to do on this date. It has this audience. This is going to be the call to action. This is going to be the metric that we're going to aim for. And on your side, what I'm looking for is, or together we should be doing this on this many stories, on this many posts. Here's how we're going to follow it up. What's the measure? What's the marketing automation? Like all of these types of things. So you can actually have and as I said, like an agency where you're going in kind of very open-eyed and saying, look, I want us both to get to the end of this and feel really great about it. And I want the customer to literally be knocking down our doors thinking this was a great collaboration. So what is your measure of success? What would you love to see happen? Here's my measure of success. Here's where I would like to grow. Here's what I would like to happen. And actually being really upfront and clarifying what are the success measures for each party, and also what that success measure is for that customer. So we want the customer to feel this, to do this, to act this way. And so we're both going into it with a spirit of intention on not just bartering, not saying, well, I've done my 2 Facebook posts and so that's enough, but actually saying, okay, do you know what? This is really working. So I might actually share this on LinkedIn as well. Or I might actually just do a little bit extra, not because I have to, not because it's documented, but because I want the customer to really feel like this is worth it. Or the customer might come back and actually have some questions and you're like, great, that's a great question. Do you know what? I might actually do a quick Insta story or reel or Facebook Live and actually talk about the answer to that question, because that might clarify it for a whole bunch of other people as well. So be very clear about why you're doing it.
Hold on. No. Because, okay, so here's the thing. So apparently I start every episode with okay, so, but Jenny called me out on it.
Oh
And
no, now it's awkward.
now I don't want to do it, but it screws me up because I don't know how to get into the flow without my okay so.